The idea of making pictures move, it's an old dream. People have always wanted to capture life, to see it play again. Think about those early optical toys, the zoetropes, the praxinoscopes. They flickered, they gave a taste of motion, then came photography, freezing a moment, but that wasn't enough. The real challenge was to make those frozen moments flow. Edward Muybridge, with his galloping horses, showed it was possible. He lined up cameras, click, click, click. He proved a horse lifts all four hooves. Thomas Edison developed the kinetoscope, a peep show machine, one person at a time. It was a start. But not yet the cinema we love. Then, across the Atlantic in France, you had two brothers, Auguste and Louis Lumière. They invented the cinematograph. It could record, print and project images. December 28, 1895, the Grand Café in Paris, the first public paid screening. Simple. Just people walking out of a building. But it was life, moving. It was magic. Georges Méliès saw the chance to create illusions. 1902, he built sets. He used stop motion. He told stories. He showed cinema could be a tool for the imagination. So these moving pictures, they started to spread from Paris to New York. The world was ready for cinema. As the novelty wore off, filmmakers realized they needed more than just short scenes. They needed stories. Longer stories, more complex narratives. This is where D.W. Griffith comes in. An American director. He was ambitious. He experimented. He pushed the boundaries of what film could do. He understood the power of editing, the close-up to show emotion, the long shot for spectacle, cross-cutting to build suspense in 1915. A hugely controversial film, deeply racist in its themes, we must acknowledge that. But its impact on film grammar was immense. He showed cinema could tackle big subjects. And where did many of these filmmakers gather? Hollywood, Southern California. The weather was good, lots of sunshine for filming, diverse landscapes nearby. The studio system started to take shape. Big companies emerged. Paramount, Fox, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. They built vast studios. They controlled everything, and they created stars. Charlie Chaplin, the Little Tramp. Known all over the world, his comedy, his pathos, they defined an era. For years, people had experimented with adding sound to film. Edison himself had tried, but the technology was tricky. Synchronizing sound and image, that was the big hurdle. Making it reliable, making it sound good. Warner Brothers, a smaller studio, then took the big gamble. They invested in the Vitaphone system, sound on disc. In 1926, they released with a synchronized musical score and sound effects. It was a sensation. Then in 1927 came, mostly silent, yes, but Al Jolson. He sang and he spoke a few lines. You ain't heard nothing yet, that was it. The revolution had begun. The public went wild. The transition to sound happened incredibly fast, almost overnight. Studios scrambled to convert. Theaters had to be wired for sound. It was expensive, it was chaotic. Some silent stars, their careers ended. Their voices didn't match their screen persona, or they couldn't handle dialogue. The cameras were noisy, so they had to put them in big soundproof boxes. Ice boxes, they called them. Actors had to cluster around hidden microphones. It was static at first. Filmmaking took a step back technically in some ways. But the audience demanded sound, and what the audience wants, Hollywood usually provides. Even in the silent days, people wanted color. They hand-tinted frames, stenciled colors onto prints. It was painstaking work, but it added something, a touch of magic, a sense of occasion. Early experiments with color photography for film were complex, expensive, often unreliable. Technicolor, that's the name most people remember. Their early two-strip process, it was limited, mostly reds and greens. You saw it in sequences in big films like The Phantom's Mask or in Douglas Fairbanks. It was impressive for its time, but it wasn't true, full color, not yet. The quest for a richer palette continued. The big breakthrough came in the 1930s. Three-strip Technicolor. This system could capture a much wider range of colors. It was vibrant, it was beautiful, but it was also very expensive. It required special cameras, special processing. The first live-action feature film using this new process was in 1935. Then came the big ones with Errol Flynn, So Lush, So Green, and of course, in 1939. Then came the next big wave, digital. It started quietly, with special effects, computers generating images, but then digital cameras started to get better, more affordable. George Lucas was a big proponent. He shot parts of his prequels digitally in the early 2000s. It was one of the first major Hollywood films shot entirely digitally. Some people resisted film stock 35mm. It has a certain look, a texture, a magic. Digital, they said, was cold. Too clean, but the technology kept improving. Faster, better resolution, more dynamic range. It was undeniable. The digital tide was coming in and it was powerful. And what digital did for special effects? Well, that was a revolution in itself. CGI, computer-generated imagery. Suddenly, anything you could imagine you could put on screen. Dinosaurs walking the earth in, that was a watershed moment. Whole worlds created inside a computer for films. Like the scale of spectacle became almost limitless. Action sequences became more elaborate. Fantasy and science fiction genres thrived. Of course, it's a tool, and like any tool, it can be overused or used badly.